I always love this time of webinar time is when you start to see all of our participants pouring in and which is always fun for me because we
How many
send
do
out
we have?
we had a couple hundred sign up actually, which has been really kind of fun for us as we send out all of our notifications and our emails and stuff. It's always neat for us to see who's going to sign up and time of day always makes a difference because it's 7 o'clock here on East Coast, 5 o'clock where you're at, Coach, and then around the world we get quite a few that jump on and join us. So exciting, exciting. So we're going to give this another 10 seconds or so to kick off, but I'm excited about this one. I think I say that on everyone, which is sounds redundant, but I really am.
Well, I'm not very excited.
Right, right. I'll be more monotone here, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Very cool. Well, let's get started. Let's get rolling. I'm happy to moderate this one, co-moderate this one. We've got two people here on our webinar tonight. We're talking all things track and field, and we brought in one of the best of the best, the GOAT, if you will, of track and field coaches. Coach Brian Bedard is out of CSU. He's been coaching track and field for, is it 65 years, something like that? You've been in the business for a long time, Coach.
37 years of wedded bliss with Colorado State.
I love it.
Yeah.
37 years. And then it's
Yeah.
exciting for us because we have one of your former athletes, which is such a really cool story. And maybe we'll get to touch on that. But Lexie Keller, who works for Onform, she is covering our track and field division. And when we thought about having a track and field coach, we said, hey, why don't we just make this a fun conversation with all three of us? So welcome, Lexie.
Yeah, excited to get into it.
Yeah.
The brains of the operation.
That's exactly right. Lexie absolutely keeps this ship running. So a couple things, couple of housekeeping pieces here. So super quick, we are going to be having a nice little chat conversation with Coach Bedard. As always, we do have the chat function, the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please chime in, ask questions. We're going to be following that, which is super easy. I try to moderate that as best as I can, but we'll go through the Q&A. We did change up a little bit. You see on the right-hand side there, we've got the QR code. So if anything is of interest and you don't know of Onform or haven't heard of anything, you can scan that QR code and download the app. Lexie or I or anyone else any of our other colleagues would be happy to jump on and do a demo with you. But here's the flow of what we're thinking. So, Coach, we wanted to do maybe like a couple of different perspectives. Since I have both of you here, I'd love to hear a coach's perspective on form, Lexie as the former athlete's perspective, and then we're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes. I'd love for you to do some breaking down of some videos. I know that you said you bring a couple of videos with you, and then we'll kind of jump in and any Q&A as we go along. So, sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, how about we start with Lexie? Let's start from the athlete first. So, Lexie, you were with Coach Bedard. Was it all 4 years? Is that correct?
Yes, actually 5 with COVID, but started at CSU as a freshman heptathlete and worked with Coach Bedard all 5 years. And he got me to improve my shot put a lot as a heptathlete, which is hard with heptathletes for sure and multis. So yeah, we've had kind of a long pass together at CSU and yeah, still going.
Awesome. How about I mean, we're in a technology space, right? We're talking about Onform. Give us your perspective as a former athlete. You're still a post-collegiate athlete. I shouldn't say former. You're still very much an athlete. Your perspective as receiving, sending, using the app from a user's experience. Talk to us real quick about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it was like my senior year at CSU, my 4th year. We got Onform as a team. And kind of before that, at practice, as a multi, I was working with a lot of different coaches and they would record video. And 90% of the time I wasn't getting it after practice. So I kind of had to go and pester my coaches and text them at like 7, 8 o'clock at night to get my videos. And that was kind of big inconvenience for both of us. So once we got Onform, that was just so helpful for me as an athlete because I could go to practice, see all my videos, immediately after. And then if my coach wanted to send me anything, he could kind of mark up a video, do a voiceover, and send it back to me. So just kind of making that process so much easier as an athlete, having all my videos in one place and being able to share and receive videos from my coaches just helped a ton with all of that. So
Well, I can reconfirm. I mean, it was kind of a hodgepodge, especially from the multis coaches recording athletes on different devices or the phone. And then maybe the athlete got the video or not. Maybe we showed it to them at practice. A lot of disorganization, inefficiency at practice, which I'm sure was frustrating for the athletes and coaches both. But we just didn't feel comfortable with some of the apps that were out there, and I've used some in the past, and a lot of them required a lot of memory on storage memory on my device. And I literally crashed some iPads and stuff in the past. They were just not usable from the amount of storage it was taking up. So, but probably a pretty frustrating adventure for the athletes to have to deal with that. So when we got on board with Onform, once we got schooled up on it, which didn't take very long. I mean, I'm a Neanderthal with tech anyway, and if I can manage it, I mean, I was using it constantly today at practice, both the morning session and afternoon session, and I mean, if I can do it, anybody can.
I love when you say that, Coach, because it's true. We've made the app so simple that we want anyone to be able to just record a video quickly, analyze it seamlessly, and share it flawlessly. So love hearing that. Thanks both for sharing. One of the questions I wanted to throw out there for both of you to answer is the recording, just best practices of recording. From a coach, I would love, Coach, you go first, and then Lexie, think about your answer because you're still post-collegiate. So you're still recording your videos and working with coaches. So think about that answer. But Coach, give us maybe some best practices. We'll get into the analysis piece, but best practices you found of just quick and easy ways you record.
Well, I just like the versatility of being able to pull my phone out at any point. If I have my stuff together and I'm organized and I'm at a track meet, I'm usually setting up a tripod and putting it on there with and using the iPad at a meet situation. But you know, daily at practice today, I was just pulling out the phone at different times, and if someone was doing something well, I was letting them know. And if they were not doing a coaching cue very well, I could show them in real time right on the screen, and even use some of the tools and draw on it, or you know, forward and reverse. And one thing that's really nice with me is I can be sloppy, and if I'm a ways away from, I'm coaching the shot and I got a hammer thrower going, and the hammer thrower is quite a ways away, I can zoom in quickly and get the shot of the hammer thrower, and I can tag that athlete's name on that video, so it gets saved under their name, gets sent to them, and then I get confirmation that the athlete actually watched it, which I love, that accountability part. So if I do a video analysis and I send it directly to an athlete, and sometimes I send it to other athletes to watch certain things that they're struggling with too, so they can learn from it, and I get confirmation that they actually watched it. Because if I don't get that confirmation, I come back next practice and say, hey, did you look at the analysis I did? Well, I didn't have time to do that. Yeah, I saw that. I spent time at home analyzing your video, and I expect you to watch it before the next practice so we can kind of build off of what we saw. So I love that part of it. And then I think videoing, I shoot from the back a lot to especially with the throws, to look at entry mechanics, alignment, linear path, efficiency, and then I shoot from the side quite a bit to look at the sprint movement off the back and kind of where they're oriented in the circle. But I'm not afraid to shoot from anywhere if I'm not in the right position and I'm moving around practice talking to athletes. And again, the versatility of using a handheld device and being able to zoom in and stuff. I've learned some things from shooting in a different location than I normally do. And I see things, I'm like, geez, I didn't see that from the other side. That's interesting. We need to address that. So I'm not locked into being in too many, one spot or another, but I definitely film from the back and the side, and then I like a combined view from a corner shot from in a throwing situation. So, but it's tough. I mean, if you're doing hurdles and or start mechanics, and I mean, you got to be on the fly and kind of move the camera, and it's again easy to use in that fashion too. If you're doing full vault approach or even a jab approach, I mean, you have to move the camera or iPad over a fairly long path to get their whole approach, but it works in all settings.
Well, we have a couple of things under the hood we're working on to have a couple of different devices and piece it all together so you don't have to actually move the camera. But I've said too much already. We'll come back to that maybe. It's something down the road. But Lexie, how about from you from an athlete's perspective? I know you're training every day with post-collegiate athletes and stuff, and you probably don't always have time to, hey, Aaron, record me real quick. So talk to us super quick on how you're recording and working with your coaches.
Yeah. So last year I didn't have a coach with me in person. He was coaching me kind of remotely. So it was super easy. Like I could just send him videos from practice, just set up my phone on a tripod. I was training by myself and he could quickly mark it up and send it back to me. So that was really helpful, the communication aspect of it. But just day-to-day practice, having my coach record me, like for example, today I was throwing javelin and I was not understanding this cue. And my coach told me, okay, you executed it really well in this video, but not this one. So he just quickly pulled up 2 videos, did a side by side. And I was like, oh, I can actually see that difference so clearly. So just day to day being able to kind of easily record and get those videos and kind of break them down at practice or even from afar has definitely helped me as an athlete. And it's been really helpful in that way. So.
Love that. Love hearing that. And I know that people log into these webinars to hear, firsthand what's happening from coaches who are using this every day. I love having an athlete who's using this every day. The communication you both have said, ease of use, cloud storage, like it's not taking up room on your devices. You can find things quickly and easily. I love all that. But I would be remiss if we didn't jump into just doing some analyzing of videos, because I think that's why a lot of our attendees have joined us. They want to see Coach in action. So, Coach, if it's cool with you, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and allow you to share your screen. So let's see if we can pass
before we get into that. I want to say the other parts I love about the video or the app is I can invite my athletes to use the app and get it downloaded free on their device, and then they can use it. And when they've been, I had an example of Claire. I talked to you guys about this. She was snowed in Montana, and she was supposed to be back from winter break, and we were supposed to get going to prepare for the season, and she's stuck. And I said, well, instead of making an excuse that we got 2 feet of snow on the ground, let's go in your garage and let's get to work doing some drills in her garage. And she set up her phone and had it on a tripod, and she was doing some technical work in her garage, sending those videos to me in real time, and I could analyze them and either text back to her through the app, or I could, do a particular video analysis and send it back to her. You need to work on this. And we were going back and forth in real time, which is fantastic. I had the same thing when I was working with Mustafa in Egypt. Depending on our time situation, and if I wasn't sleeping, because the time, so we had to work that out. But we did some live sessions where we could communicate back and forth, and I could either text him through the app and say, hey, you need to do this better, or I could take one of the videos and do an analysis right there and send it back to him on the fly during a session.
Love it.
So the value of that, and I had another athlete, Aaron, who's a young athlete that was doing her homework over the summer, doing her lifting and actually throwing over the summer, sent me videos through the app because she has it on her phone. And I could get those videos and see it, analyze it, send it back to her to keep her on track over the summer. And the value in that is huge.
Yeah.
And the ease with which I can go back and forth with an athlete. And we're still experimenting with different ways to use it. The other thing I love at practice, if I'm busy, the other athletes have the app on their phone, and they can get video of a teammate when I'm not able to do that. And it gets saved to the app under their file name, and I can analyze it or go access it there. So that's some of the versatility.
Love that. It's exactly what we've built the app for, and we're continuing to innovate for those purposes too. So let's jump in, Coach. Can you try? Let's see if we can get you to share your screen, and I want to have you dig into a little bit of the analysis stuff that you work on, and I've got a couple of questions that have come in that I'd love to ask you as we kind of dig into this. So we can see your iPad perfectly, and I see that you got it looks like a comparison of some shot puts here. So walk us
and
through
this is interesting. You know, we talk about having the athletes be able to use it, and it's easy for them to use and send me stuff. So Gabby's a little more tech savvy, but she took 2 videos from the NCAA first round meet, which was just last year, which she qualified for nationals at this meet. But she stacked these 2 videos, and I wish she hadn't have given it away to me, but she said, hey, the top video, I threw this far, in the bottom video, I threw this far. Why in the bottom video did I throw almost 4 feet farther than the top video? And she decided to link up the 2 videos because luckily I didn't move when I was filming her. I didn't have a tripod set up, so I'm just standing there, and I did an okay job of staying in the same spot. This doesn't work as well if I'm moving around a bunch. It works best if you're with a tripod. But she stacked the 2 videos, and she asked me, what am I doing technically different on the bottom video to throw 4 feet further? So we started that analysis part of it. And what's really interesting is she linked it up at the start, and you can link it up at the finish too. It doesn't matter. But this way it gives, you know, rate of speed out of the back and how fast she's moving through certain positions. But the things that I was looking at with her were entry out of the back. I thought her shin angle was much better on the lower one. She said a more aggressive shin angle, which your shin angle, the way I coach, sets your drive angle or your sprint angle out of the back. And if you don't have this aggressive shin angle set, like up here, it's set up high. So she's going to drive up out of the back. She's going to catch too much air time and not be down working the ground. And I really think your relationship with the ground and being able to apply force through the ground with 2 feet on the ground and put your energy into the implement is critical. And if you catch too much air time, you don't have that time on the ground. So she lands much earlier, as you can see in the bottom video here. She's got right foot landing and really loaded on this right leg, which is fantastic. And a lot of that's because she set that aggressive shin angle. She had a flatter sprint or drive to the middle. She lands with depth on the right, really good depth. She's just touching down up top. She's already loaded into the right leg on the bottom view. And then up top, if you look at her pinching of her left knee to right knee right here is critical to help us get our left foot down at the front of the ring. And she's already been pinched and ready to put her foot down, because the other thing I look at is we want to have 2 feet down as early as possible and be able to work the implement as long as possible. So I'm gauging when that left foot touches down, which she's down right there on the bottom, but she's already touched down here with the implement, with the shot back. So she's ready to activate both legs, right hip and everything, and work the ball over a long path through the finish. She hasn't even touched down yet. Now the clock is ticking. So at this point in the video up top, the whole time she's waiting for this left foot to touch down, she's going to be unwinding, and the implement's going to be unwinding until she finally touches down here. She's already had some body weight shift to her left leg, which is not good. We want to stay body weight loaded back over the right leg, the power leg, and be able to work the shot over the longest path possible. She's already into her delivery here, and she's just starting to get things going here. So, you know, if we're talking about working the ball from all the way from that position there to the delivery point, that's critical. Working the ball over a long path is what we're looking for. And then her right knee, working her right knee in, block leg. So she wants to stand through that left leg very aggressively. She wants to stop and block this left side And so this is the breaking action of the throw, and she wants to do that really well. Look up top. She's got kind of a soft block leg. Her left arm is not in a block position yet. She's so far behind. So rate of speed is much better on this bottom throw. And just a super aggressive block leg. Got her right hip all the way through. She's squared up to the finish, which is what we're looking for. And then release point is clear out here. You can actually see it come off her hand. But she's releasing the shot in the bottom throw. And the ball's still into her neck on the top throw. So again, dynamic movement, rate of speed, all that stuff, and then delivery. I mean, that's a 4-foot difference. So I'd love to think if Gabby sent these 2 videos to me, she wouldn't have to tell me which one was farther. If I can't tell that being a coach, then I should be fired.
Sure.
I should be, working in the Home Depot paint department.
And
but I mean, this is fantastic, folks. Block leg, block arm, head position, right hip all the way through. This is just textbook stuff through delivery, and then big reverse if she does things right. Right side towards to the toe board. Left leg comes out as a counterbalance. This is fantastic. And now you got to stay in. You got to have the big save, which she did. So that was a lifetime best for her on the bottom.
Wow. Lexie,
fun stuff.
Yeah, I was going to pop in and just say, I think it's awesome that, I mean, she maybe in that moment didn't really understand the differences between those 2 throws. And one of them was a 4-foot PER, and she didn't understand. But I think being able to sync up the videos and look at them in that way, and just kind of seeing you go through that, that's so helpful as an athlete. And now she has something to learn from that. She didn't necessarily know if that wasn't on video in that way. And being able to sync them up like that and just really see the differences is awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, if I had a tripod, and it was a little closer and I could have stacked the videos, that'd be pretty cool. But with me being the tripod, if there's any movement, that doesn't work as effectively. I do some of that indoors when I have it on the tripod, and I'm close enough. We can do some overlays on that and do comparisons that way too. I do like this model where we're getting side by sides or these stacked. It gives just immediate impact on as far as technical differences or literally the rate of speed in a throw. I mean, from start to finish, you saw the difference.
For
now,
sure.
Coach, did you say that you were present at this throw, or were you not with her during this?
No, I was the goon holding the camera.
Okay, so you were there.
Yeah, trying my best not to overcoach. I was there.
I love it. Okay.
They kept us roped off, so we had to be a ways away, which is odd anyway. But anyway, I stayed in my corral over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I know at some meets, it's hard to get up close next to an athlete, or maybe you're down at the shot put ring and someone's down throwing javelin. How do you get around that as a coach, and kind of how does that work with the app? How do you use it in that way?
Well, luckily the Zoom, I can get in fairly close. Again, if I have it on a tripod, it's easier. If I'm sitting there shaking it, it becomes a little tougher. If I have a volunteer assistant coach helping me out where I can just have a clear set of eyes and not look through an iPad helps. If I'm close enough, there's enough grace. I can just hold the iPad and look over the top of it. And the editing feature is great. So if I start it too early or leave it run too late, I can edit the video down to what I want. Here's a cool story though. We're out at the Olympic, I believe it was Olympic trials, and they had the coaches sitting a long ways away. There was a ton of traffic walking through, and Brock Lesnar was sitting up in the stands, and he said, "Hey, if you need some video, I got a pretty good view from the side," which I was sitting at the back. So Brock was sending me videos in real time, and then I was. It's very easy to download it into the Onform app and do some reviews right there on site. And then Maya came over and I could show her what was going on. So he helped out in that capacity. And it's really easy in that way to be able to, get some help from another coach or get another angle.
I love that.
And I'm not calling Brock a coach. He doesn't know what he's doing, but at least he could send me some video footage.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, she needs to throw farther. I know that, Brock. I'm working on it, but
You're right.
I was gonna say, like, I talk to coaches all the time who just have maybe GAs or whatever you call them, but assistants, volunteers helping out, and maybe they can't record all the videos at the meet, but they have people kind of set up at the long jump pit, high jump, shot put, and they're receiving the videos even from the other side of the track. So they can send a quick message. They get a video from across the track. Okay, tell her to scoot back, tell her to move up, whatever it is. But I've heard a lot of coaches using it in that way, and it's really helpful when you're at a meet and you're so spread out.
Well, and at our conference meet, the facility we compete at the conference championships, the discus hammer area is completely separate from the rest of the track. So I'm over there trying to coach discus, and we got javelin going on in the infield of the track, and that's about 800 meters away. I'm somewhat fit, but not that fit. So trying to get back and forth, and I have volunteer coaches helping me out, or even an athlete if they're not thrown in that event. I put them to work and have them record some videos and send it to me so I can coach from a distance.
Well, let's jump to another video, Coach. Do you have another one ready for us to see?
Well, let me see if I can figure out what's going on here.
I can also hop in and show maybe some hurdle and sprint stuff.
Yeah, why don't you do that while I blunder away here?
Okay.
So you'll probably need to stop sharing.
Yep.
Yeah, hit allow there, and then
got it.
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Go ahead, Lexie. You should be able to give us something.
Cool. Okay, you guys see that?
Yeah, let's see how you utilize Onform or just video really from an athlete's perspective.
Yeah, so big overview here, but we have a big folder kind of with, it would be all of your athletes in here. But I'll show you a few different things. What I like with the hurdles is being able to use the timer, the touchdown timer. So if I'm looking at maybe if I want to see, let's say in between this hurdle and the next, I can actually add a timer on the screen. So I just go into my little toolbox here and I can put a timer on the screen here. And then I can drag through and I can lock that one in. So if my first hurdle is 1.0, I can go maybe add another timer. This is just really cool because a lot of coaches do hurdle touchdown times to see if you're kind of increasing as you go. It's a big thing that people look for, and they're typically doing it with their hands. And honestly, I was coaching myself a lot last year, so using this tool was crucial. And I think it's also almost a little bit better than a hand timer because it's a little more accurate in that way. But you can do that with the timer tool. I think it's a great thing that I just discovered this year. Another thing with the timer, I'll show you this kind of sprint video. So I have someone down the track and they're going to do like a fly-in 30. What you can do is have someone clap in front of the camera. So that's me right there just clapping. And then I can start the timer. I'll just add that in there. And now I can get a pretty good estimate of what this time was. So I'm just dragging through. Let's see, there it is. So right when maybe crosses through the line, I can get a good estimation of that 30 time or 40. I don't remember what it was, hopefully 40, but yeah, so that can be really helpful. We had our timing gates go out. They weren't working on our testing day, and we actually just used Onform to time. So that can be really great. I think my biggest recommendation, if you are to do that, if you're working in the sprints or doing any type of testing, is have someone clap, and you can get a really good estimation there. That's some of the great things. Yeah, sorry.
That was awesome. No, that's a good way to showcase how you use it from an athlete's perspective, and obviously you would share that over to a coach, or if the coach is there in person.
Exactly. Yeah, and another thing too, I know we've mentioned like the side-by-side, but it's so helpful. I can just go in and click on 2 different videos, and I know these are they had pretty different outcomes in the pit. So if I just drag each side, I can actually link them up. I'm going to zoom in on both of them for you guys. But if I just press link, then I can watch them in sync and see, okay, what did I do in the first video versus the second video? One of them I did a hitch kick, one of them, I don't know, I had a brain spaz, but so you can see just, I mean, day in and day out at practice, just being able to pull up videos and quickly reference them is just so convenient. Tons of different tools in there to use, especially in the throws. I know Coach Bedard uses it a ton there, but I think across every single event, it can be so helpful. So yeah.
Love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing those. Those were cool. I've got some more questions I'm going to throw your way in a second. But Coach, did you have another video teed up or?
Yeah, if I can.
Maybe not. It's okay if you don't have one.
Again, Neanderthal.
No worries.
I struggle with screen sharing as well.
So one of the questions that not questions really, you'll like this one, Lexie. One of the comments we just received was you were talking about the clap timer, and then the being able, right after that, it was the linking of the two where you went your plant foot, and then you took the other video to your plant foot and then linked them together. This user just said, now that was pretty ingenious. So I don't want to give you all the credit, but yes, you get some credit, Lex. That was pretty ingenious.
I mean, you get creative when you're kind of coaching yourself or you're learning to coach other people and you don't have the facilities, you don't have the expensive timing gates. You have to get creative. So definitely like some great tools in there for all of that.
Yeah. Well, what do you got, Coach? I got a question for you if you're ready.
I am ready, and I'm actually ready to share a screen if
okay. I think we got about 5 minutes to do maybe one more video, and then I got a couple questions for you. So if you want to try and share your screen again, that'd be awesome if we can get it. Don't call him a Neanderthal. Look at this. Using Zoom, using Onform. You're a tech wizard.
There it is. Okay. So this is Leo. He's where are we going back here? There we are. So he's going to attempt to do a what I call a half turn. And for some reason it's not responding to my finger. There we go. Come on. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm looking for in this drill is for him to face the throw as long as possible. And I want him to keep his left arm nice and long here, eyes towards the sector, and the shots stay here, and really have him move his legs underneath himself. And this is a great drill for him because he does not do this very well. His first instinct is to just turn in badly like that. And the reason I'm showing you this is he doesn't do it very well, because at this point he still should be facing the throw, left arm should still be at, but he loves to what I call back in. So he just initiates with his upper body, starts turning his head away from the direction of the throw. Maya's watching him back there thinking, this guy isn't doing this right. But you can see he presents his butt to the sector, which is exactly what we're trying to get away from. So he's activating his upper body and essentially dragging his legs behind. Now this left leg back here is trying to play catch up. And if you remember back to what I said about Gabby, is we want to get both feet down as soon as possible so we can work the implement over the longest path. The problem is he's advanced the upper body here, and he's waiting for the trailing left leg to get down. So he's hurried this part, and this is dragging. Now we got to wait for this left foot contact to come down. And this whole time his body weight is shifting off his right leg. We want to see him stacked back over the power leg, the right leg. And we're still waiting. Finally gets left foot contact. Now his body weight is kind of split between his feet. He should be loaded back over the right. And the problem with this, he's going to lose contact with his right leg or his right foot right now. And this is critical. I want him to apply force through the ground, through the right leg, through the left leg, into the shot. He's breaking contact with the ground. So he's essentially a one-legged thrower at this point. That right foot is just sliding. So he's losing a ton of power. So that's what we're working on with him. He's done better ones, but I wanted to show you a bad one, what we're trying to get away from. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Totally.
And then did you just put Maya in there and say this is how it needs to look? It feels like
she's doing a little better than that. That is for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. So one of the questions that came in I wanted to ask was from a recruiting perspective. How do you utilize video from a recruiting perspective? We know that's a big part of your job. Seems like you're recruiting 24/7, 365. Like, are you using Onform? How are you using video? Talk to us a minute bit about recruiting side.
Well, I'm definitely using it more. And again, the more I use the app, the more applications I find for it. I could probably be more proactive, but it's just kind of organically, I start to use it more and in different applications. And so what I do is when I have a recruit on campus, they oftentimes come to practice and I show them the app and how we're using it, what we're doing with it. And then at times I'll send them an analysis that I did that day. So they say, okay, this is what Coach Bedard uses for the app. This is how he communicates with the athlete. And they get a feel for how I coach a little bit by listening to the analysis. And then they saw it in real time. So they just get a feel for how things are going to go at Colorado State, how we're going to run practice, what kind of intense coaching they're going to get. And then with the technology side of it too.
Okay. Perfect. I think that answered that one. I've got another one actually for both of you here. Off season. So Lexie, let's start with you. First of all, there is no off season. I'm teasing. What do you do in off season when you're still communicating with your coach or you have that downtime? How are you utilizing technology during your off season? And then we'll go to you, Coach, with the same question.
I mean, as an athlete, I always want to look at kind of what I could have fixed or done better. So I like putting my videos in Onform and looking at them and kind of breaking them down. Or if I'm maybe doing some type of drill in the off season, I love pulling in a video from that drill, maybe mid-season, and I can see kind of the difference. Okay, this is what I looked like when I was jumping really well or throwing really well. How do I emulate that again? So kind of, I think the biggest thing is like side by sides and kind of breaking down my videos and seeing that. And then also just staying in contact with my coach. You can message on there, send videos. Even during off season, we have workouts to do, even if they're not as track and field specific. So just staying in touch through that and kind of sending updates with videos, and they like to see that. So that's been definitely the biggest thing there.
Love that.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about Claire not being able to get back, caught in Montana. So she was delayed probably a week when she needed to get back for indoor competition. So we were able to coach like that. But, over Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, when athletes aren't in town, if they have the ability to work out or do some drills or train, one, I know that they're doing something. So they send me some video stuff and try to get some feedback on that. And then over the summer break, I love it when athletes send me, hey, this is what I'm working on, coach. What do you think? And again, I can shoot them a quick text. Hey, you need to set your shin angle different, or you need to keep your foot dorsiflex when landing in the middle, or whatever it might be. Or I can elect to, if I have the time, to do a full analysis and send it back to them. So it's really helpful. Yeah, the integration when I was going to say, if you got an athlete that's redshirting and you can't be there at a meet, or you're traveling to a meet and they have to stay back for practice and they're practicing on their own, my daughter would set her phone up on a chair or something like that and send me videos. And it was pretty labor intensive going back and forth and this was before I was using Onform. That was pretty labor intensive going back and forth with her with that. It was very clunky and I was just saving videos on my phone. This way an athlete can send it to me right away. Again, I can send a quick text back through the app or do a quick analysis right there. I've done analysis riding the bus, when I got an athlete training back at the facility. So again, the convenience, the speed at which I can do evals and stuff, I think the athletes are getting a much better experience with it.
That made me think of something. What about like your international athletes and sending videos? Because I know they usually have Androids and it kind of makes that a little tougher. I know you kind of told me that with your before, I mean, you're trying to send videos and they go green and then they're blurry, they're a big blur. So yeah, what's your experience with that?
Yeah, one thing really convenient with the app, I mean, I've gotten, I'll even evaluate like a recruit or something. Not that I send them an evaluation, but I just want to be able to break it down from a coach's standpoint, see what I'm getting there as an athlete, see how they move, and I'll take a video that's been texted to me, and I'll just import it into the app and do an analysis for myself to see what I'm going to potentially what I get to work with, what gifts and talents they have, and then some areas that we are going to need to fix when they arrive here on campus. So I have at least some front end knowledge of what we're going to do. So, and again, the ease of importing stuff into the app or exporting for social media stuff. I have some social media accounts, Throwing Smarter, that I'm putting video stuff on there constantly, and it's very easy to move the videos out of the app. And even analysis videos, very easy to put on social media and move back and forth. So even for a Neanderthal that's not a tech savvy guy, I mean, you've dumbed it down really well for me. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things I could be doing, and I probably need to get schooled up and have Lexie put me through a full course, spend some time with gear and have him go through everything. Because I am not pushing the app like I should and using everything that the app is capable of doing. And you guys are creative. You there's new things all the time that you guys are working on and innovative. And so I'm probably using 20% of it, of the capability, but I'm using the heck out of that 20%. I got to tell you that.
Listen, that's the reason we built the app, is we want it to be as simple for someone to use it in a very point and shoot, draw a line and share, to as complex as they can really get fine-tuned lines. So anywhere in between, that's why we've developed what we do, and we continue, like you said, to innovate. So thanks for that little push. But I think we're coming up on time. I've tried to answer most of the questions that have come through. There is the Q&A section if anyone does have a final question as we wrap up. But as we finish up, I wanted to personally say thank you so much, Coach. It's been great working with you the last couple of years. Thank you for training an amazing athlete like Lexie and allowing us. I mean, it was because of you that we made the connection with Lexie, and the reason she's here at Onform, and she's been absolutely phenomenal. So authentic to talk with coaches. Lexie is available if anyone has questions. You can reach out to her, reach out to us, but it's been a phenomenal friendship, partnership, and just being able to work with you. Thank you both so much for giving up some time tonight on.
Let me say this,
please.
I wouldn't be on here if I didn't believe in the app. If it was garbage and I wasn't I wouldn't be on here, because I'm gonna, I got to believe in it. I got to use it. I got to be confident in it, and I wouldn't be here talking about it and supporting the Onform app if I didn't use it all the time and believe in it. And my whole staff uses it. So if it was crap, I wouldn't be on here. So let's just be real.
Well, let's be real. I appreciate that. And if it was crap, I don't think Lexie and I would be working for the company. So I think we're on the same page. Thank you.
I'm a believer. So.
Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thanks for participating and adding the questions. And Lexie, Coach Bedard, thank you so much for your time. That concludes our chat this week. Hang out. We're going to be back in 2 weeks, talk about some more product updates with gear, and we'll keep rolling. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.